Last time, we translated table of values which model direct variation into an equation, as well as translating direct variation graphs into an equation. Let us have first a review of how we did it last time. So let's have this table of values here. Have table of values. Okay. So how do we convert this one into an equation? Step 1, we look into the effect of the independent variable on a dependent variable. So let's take a look from top to bottom as x here, as x increases, so does y. Then after that, we are going to determine the value of the constant k. Now, how do we determine the value of the constant k? We simply divide k is equal to y over x. So we divide all y coordinates to x values. So we have 2 divided by 1, 2 divided by 1 is equal to 2. 4 divided by 2 equals 2. 6 divided by 3 equals 2. And 8 divided by 4 equals 2. So we have now our constant is equal to 2. And that's the time we can now write the equation of variation in which we are going to replace k here in the equation. We have y now. Our k is 2. Then x. So that's how easy it is. Okay? So first, identify, look at the effect of x on the dependent variable, determine the constant, and then write now the equation of variation. Next, now how do we translate direct variation graph into an equation? Okay, so we are going to identify a point on the graph and use the coordinates to solve for gain. So as you can see, I have identified here 3, but we can only make use of 1. But if you want to use all of this, then that's fine. We only need 1. So what are the coordinates of these points? So we have for this point, our x is 6, and for our y, it's 9. Then we solve for k, and that is, solve for k now, we have 9 over 6. Now, both 9 and 6 are divisible by 3, so we have divided by 3, divided by 3. So we have 9 divided by 3 is 3, then 6 divided by 3 is 2. Even if you are going to make use of this point, we'll still arrive at 3. Look at this. We have the coordinates are 4, and our y is 6. So solving for the constant, we have y is 6 and x is 4. Simplifying it, both are divisible by 2. So we have 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So notice that we'll arrive at the same constant. So we have now the constant is equal to 3 halves. Then it's now time for us to determine the equation, which is y is equal to 3 halves or x, or it can be written as 3x over 2. We can make use of this equation in solving problems later, especially when you're asked to solve, so to determine either the value of x or y. For our next lesson, we have still on direct variations, and then we'll have problem solving. Okay? We'll make use of equation again to solve problems. So for our learning targets, you are expected to confidently say these statements at the end of the period. I can determine whether the quantities in the statement are directly related to each other or not. I can translate into an equation a relationship between two quantities that are directly related, and I can illustrate situations that involve direct variation. So as a review again, the phrase y varies directly as x or y is directly proportional to x means that as x gets bigger, so does y, and as x gets smaller, so does y, where it can be translated as y equals kx, where x is the independent variable, y is the dependent variable, and k is the constant. Now, how do we solve for the constant? It's derived from y equals kx. So, in solving for k, we use the equation. What is again the equation for k? That is y over x. But when you are asked to solve and the constant k is not needed, we can make use of ratio and proportion. We can make use of these equations. X sub 1 over y sub 1 is equal to x sub 2 over y sub 2. Then, or we can make use of x sub 1 over x sub 2 equals y sub 1 over y sub 2. Or we can reverse. We can have y sub 1 over x sub 1 equals x sub 1 over, or say, we have x sub 2, y sub 2 over x sub 2. Okay. Anyway, they will just yield the same product. Say, for example, we have here x sub 1 times y sub 2, we have x sub 1, y sub 2. Then we have here x sub 2 times y sub 1. How about here? We have, when you get the cross product, we have x sub 2 times y sub 1, which is equal to this. Then we have equals x sub 1 times y sub 2, which is also equal to this. So they're just the same. These three equations are the same equations. Now let's have an example here. We are going to solve for the unknown variable. If y varies directly as x and y is equal to 10 when x equals 7, find the constant of proportionality, then write its equation of variation. So, step 1, we are going to write the equation as stated in the problem. We have y varies directly as x. So, remember that in direct variation, the dependent variable is mentioned first. So, y here is our dependent variable. Then the technique here is varies directly would be equivalent to equals k. So we write here equals k. Then as x followed by the independent variable. So this statement is translated into y is equal to kx. Now how to find a constant? Simply substitute it in the equation. So when y is equal to 10, so our y is equal to 10. We have k here. Our x is equal to 7. So divide both sides by 7 by 7. So we have now our k is equal to 10 over 7. Now that we know the constant, we can now go back to step 1. Okay. Then substitute the value of k. So we have now y is equal to 10 over 7 of x, or it can be written as y is equal to 10x over 7. So, we have now our conclusion. We say conclusion, that's answering the problem, or what is asked in the problem. So, the constant of proportionality is 10 over 7, and the equation of variation is 10 over 7 of x, or it can be written as y is equal to 10x over 7. Let's have another problem. Okay? If y varies directly as x and y is equal to 12 when x equals 9, find y when x equals 7. Same process, okay? Meron lamang tayong idagdag, no? After determining the equation, we can solve for the unknown. Okay, step 1, same process. Translate the first statement, y varies directly as x, into an equation. So, the dependent variable is mentioned first. Varies directly is equivalent to equals k. That's the technique. Then followed by the independent variable. Then we are going to substitute the first set of given values. Ito yun, gagamitin natin yan, which is also found here. So we have now y is equal to 12. Copy k. Then we have x is equal to 9. So dividing both sides by 9. So both 12 and 9 are divisible by 3. So we have our constant is 12 divided by 3 is 4. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. So our constant is 3. Then we go back to equation 1. to write the equation of variation. So we have 4/3 of x or y is equal to 4x over 3. Then, how do we solve for y? In solving for y, you make use of this equation. So we have y is equal to 4x over 3. Substitute x with 6. Okay? So we have y now is equal to 4 times 6 divided by 3. So we have 4 times 6 is 24 divided by 3. Then we have 24 divided by 3 is equal to 8. Okay? So very easy. Another one is we can make use of ratio and proportion. Okay? So, okay, say we let this one is as our x sub 1. This is our y sub 1. This is our y sub 2. And this is our x sub 2. So, we'll not be confused. Okay. So, let's make use of this equation. You can try other equations also. We have our y sub 1 is 12 over x sub 1. This is 1 also. X sub 1, which is equal to 9, equals y sub 2, which is unknown, over x sub 2, which is 6. We'll get the cross products. 12 times 6 is equal to 72, equals y sub 2 times 9 is 9 y sub 2. Then isolate y sub 2 on the right side by dividing both sides by 9. So we have now y sub 2 is equal to 8. Ma'am, pwede gamitin ito, ma'am, o. Ito na lang gamitin, ma'am. X sub 1 over x sub 2 is equal to y sub 1 over y sub 2. Will we get the same answer? Yes, we will get the same answer. Our x sub 1 is 9. Our x sub 2 is 6. Equals, we have y sub 1 is 12. And our y sub 2 is unknown. Okay, get the cross product. So we have 9 times y sub 2 is 9. Y sub 2 equals 6 times 12 is equal to 72. To solve for y sub 2, isolate it on the left side. So divide both sides by 9. So we have y sub 2 is equal to 8. So, regardless of the equation that you will be using, you'll still be arriving at the same answer. Then, you can use any of the two methods to solve problems similar to this. Okay? Now, it's time for you to open your book on page 200. Okay? Activity number 5, skills practice. For items 2, 4, 6, 8, this will be for checking and recording. For you have items 1 and 3 for practice. Okay? So, I want you to answer items 1 and 3 maybe for 4 minutes. Okay? What I want you to do is pause the video for a while. When done, play it again so we can check your work. Okay? So, pause the video now. Okay? Let's check your work. Let's start with item number 1. If y varies directly as x and y is equal to 144 when x equals 36, find the constant of proportionality. It's very easy. So first step is we're going to translate this one into an equation. So we have y varies directly as x. And y is equal to 144 when x is equal to 36. So we have copy K. Then we have here 36. Okay? Then we have here divide both sides by 36 by 36. Our K now is equal to 4. Okay? That's it. Next, item number 3. We have still y varies directly as x. So we have here y varies directly as x. So when y is equal to 181, when x is equal to 21. Okay? So what's next? So we divide both sides now to 21 by 21 rather. So we have our k is 181 divided by 21 is equal to 8.62. Okay? Oh, that's it. It's only 8.62. Okay? So answer now independently items 2 and 4. Let's move on to items 5 and 7. Okay. So we have if y varies directly as x, okay, translate that into an equation. So we have y varies directly as x as and y is equal to 15, substitute immediately. Yun ang technique. Habang binabasa mo, nasa-substitute ka. When x equals 3. So obviously, ang matira dyan ay k. So we have 15 divided by 3. So we have our k is equal to 5. Then we have go back to this equation, substitute k. So we have y is equal to 5x. Then find y. So we make use of this equation to solve for y. Find y when x equals 8. So we have copy 5. Then our x is 8. So y now is equal to 40. Very easy. Next, number 5. Ang technique ng gagawin natin ha, habang binabasa, magsa-substitute ka na. Okay? So we have y varies directly as x. Translate it into an equation. Y is equal to kx. And y is equal to 9. Copy k. When x equals negative 15, then divide both sides by negative 15 to isolate k. So we have k now is equal to, both are divisible by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. Then we have 15 divided by 3 is 5. So positive divided by negative is negative. Then we write the equation of variation going back to step 1. So we have y is equal to negative 3x over 5. Then we make use of this equation to solve for y when x equals 21. So we have now y is equal to negative 3 times x, that is 21. So our y is equal to negative 63. That's it. That's how easy it is. Okay? So, solve for items 6 and 8 independently. Okay? For each real-life applications, we have the following problems. Okay, for the first problem we have, the amount of money raised during the PTA raffle draw is directly proportional to the number of stubs of tickets. So, let's make use of money here. So, to represent money, let's make use of the initial M. That is our dependent variable. Varies directly, that would mean equals K. Stubs of tickets K. Okay. So step 1, just like with what we did a while ago, we are going to translate the first statement into an equation. So M varies directly or is directly proportional to T. Last year, the amount of money raised was, the amount of money raised was 300 pesos. Okay, diretso tayo. 300,000 pesos rather. Equals K for 1,500 stubs of tickets sold. So we have 1,500, that is for the tickets. Okay, let us solve for K by dividing both sides by 1,500 by 1,500. So we have, let me make use of my calculator, divided by 15, 1,500, we have 200. Or simply pala, students, oh, Tanggalin natin tong dalawa. Ayan. 300 divided by 15 is equal to, um, we have here, tanggal na yan siya, so we have here 200. Next, we have, go back to step 1. So, substitute the value of k in it. So, we have m is equal to, our k is 200, then copy t. Then make use of this t to answer the problem. How much money? So, this is unknown. Copy m because that is unknown. Copy k. Then, will be raised if you have 1,700 stubs of tickets. So we have M now is, you get the product of the two. So you have 17 times 2 is 334. Just add the 2, the 4 zeros. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have here 340,000. Therefore, if there will be, if 1,700 stubs of tickets are sold, then 340,000 pesos will be raised. Okay, so very easy, right? Okay, so next problem. Let's have the next problem. Okay, the next problem will be done by you. I think we have answered this in our previous class. So what you're going to do is answer items 2 and 3, and then do not forget to answer the process question. Okay? I hope you were able to understand all the lesson, the lesson for today. If you have if you have confusions, send me a message. Okay, let's go back to the learning targets. Kindly reflect on each. So can you determine whether the quantities in the statement are directly related to each other or not? Of course, yes, because it's already stated in the problem. How about item number 2? I can translate into an equation a relationship between two quantities that are directly related. I hope you will say yes. Then I can illustrate situations involve direct variation. I hope so also. So, very good students. See you in our next class.